Hello, and welcome to everything that this is. We have reached the end of September, and if this is what September looks like, I have a feeling this year's gonna be real interesting. Hi, I am Mimi, the Feral Southern Housewife, and I hold this space for my witchy and whimsical homeschooling families, for us to come together, find some tips and tricks, build community, and to check in, because mercy, don't we know that it's hard to find community for people like us. It's hard to talk about how hard homeschooling is sometimes. So here we go. We're gonna start doing these little monthly check-in vlog kind of a thing, and it's gonna be very little edited. If there's anything edited out, it's probably because I'm cussing. But how have you been? How has your September been? We've made it through Michaelmas. We have made it through the equinox, and we have made it through the transition into schooling itself, and it's way harder than I thought it was going to be. This year is really difficult. Like, I don't know what it is. I feel like my seasonal depression's kind of settled in a little early, you know what I mean? Do I feel like I'm failing? That was something I brought up in the last video. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I feel like the schedule that we have just doesn't work. Sometimes I feel like we need to change things in our family in order to make things work. So, you know, we'll see how that goes. But September's homeschooling vlog is going to basically be about, where is my village? Where is my community? When I first started homeschooling, it was hard to get into pagan circles, and it was hard to get into Waldorf circles. And a lot of that's because I'm not pagan enough to be pagan. And I have some contrary views. Like, I don't believe that I should be teaching my child potions at the age of 6. But also, I feel like technology is a tool, and if we don't let our kids use it a little bit and teach them how to use it properly, then we're going to end up with kids who are far enough behind when they get up to join society that they're actually going to be at a disadvantage. Like, preparing our little people to be big people is hard, and not having a community is even harder. One thing I was looking at was the moon child for the full moons. You know, I looked at that community, but we don't have anything local. We also don't have anything local for, like, spiral scouts. That was a thing. And our homeschooling groups out here, there's one secular, but it doesn't always act secular, and most things are religious, or have people who are religious that go just because. Like, they might have a secular curriculum, but they themselves are religious, you know what I'm saying? It's hard. It's hard. And sometimes I'm like, why don't I just make this group myself? And I'm like, how much more do I want to put on my plate? Like, but anyway, so where's your village? Who do you have? How do you feel about this September? As far as, like, the actual schooling goes, that's not a problem. The learning, the enrichment, being present, none of that's an issue. We're having a great time there. It's the actual doing of the work. As my magpie gets older, she needs to actually be able to participate and work within her limits, within reasonable limits for her and her special needs, but to be able to progress, I personally need to see where she is, and trying to get that work done is really, really hard. She is very resistant. PDA is hard. So and then, for all other intents and purposes, Miss Boo, who is so cute, who is 4, who, according to Waldorf philosophy, doesn't necessarily need to be in school. Like, a lot of what she is learning is through play, and that's fine. is in a 4K class for 50 minutes a day, 3 days a week. And I consider that part of our enrichment. But then when I go to this class, I sit there and I think, we've already done kindergarten stuff. She's already ahead. What am I supposed to do? So now how am I supposed to meet the twice exceptional needs of Magpie with the little bit ahead needs of Miss Boo, because she is up and away? This is where, like, I appreciate virtual schooling and I love the community that I found with my virtual school, but trying to find a good balance between virtual school and homeschooling and what you do for enrichment for both, it starts to get to be a lot. So how do you handle enrichment? We have virtual clubs. I'm actually thinking about looking at putting the girls into Boy Scouts. Don't bring that mess in here with Boy Scouts are for boys and Girl Scouts are for girls. We were in Girl Scouts. The biggest focus was table manners and selling cookies. There was very little when we went to these meetings that I saw in participation that was actually helping with skills. I can teach table manners all by myself. I took etiquette classes, don't think I didn't. I know exactly what to teach for decorum. But life skills are going to be important, so either I can take that time and build it in for myself, or we can outsource that so I can conserve my energy for another enrichment, and we can go through Boy Scouts. 4-H is another one out here. Usually that's pretty cheap and or free. I know that there are programs that you can join for free. So the only issue with that is we are rural. We are in a general rural area, and so that kind of makes going to some of these enrichments a little difficult. It's kind of farther away. And I'm talking like everything's 25, 35 minutes minimum, right? YMCA, 4-H, most Boy Scout groups, they're all in the next town over. And that can be even more exhausting, especially with the winters we get out here in Wisconsin. Oh my God. I know we suck it up. I know those of us in the Midwest, we suck it up and we make it work, but I also know y'all relate to me a lot when I say I don't want to put their boots on. I don't want to put their jackets on. I'd rather stay home. Another thing I've been working on for this September is getting out of my comfort zone as a more introverted person and being able to encourage the extroverted personality of my children. They enjoy saying hello to everybody. We are doing great with conversations and how things move forward in public. That's going great. I think they're a little too forward sometimes because, again, they're doing great with like older kids and adults, but like kids their age and younger are just kind of like, and honestly, a lot of that's the neurodivergence. I lived with that my whole life. My girls are probably gonna have to live with it too, but as long as they can have some kind of function and, you know, not run away with the strangers. That's the biggest thing. We don't need them eloping. I have elopers. If you know, you know. But trying to get out of my box and do more for them with the enrichment, with getting out more in the community, because I do talk about getting out in the community a lot. That's one of my biggest things, is get out there, get out there, get out there. I actually have a really big issue with it because I get so drained that I feel like I can't show up for them in the way that I need to support them, while also juggling being out and about. Who else suffers from this? Who else is introverted enough that once a month events is what they can handle? That's where I'm at right now. So we're looking at how things move forward in the winter, because that's coming soon. Like I said, here in Wisconsin, it'll be, I think it snowed quite a few times in for Halloween. It's been cold for Halloween, so not really looking forward to the cold settling in. I'm enjoying my crisp mornings and the last few, there's a butterfly that just landed on my truck, and the last few views of butterflies and other wildlife before everything settles down to sleep. So, but speaking of October, we are looking at bringing more traditions alive We will be doing, for our language arts, we will be doing spooky stories. So picking one from each culture to better understand what to do. So we have our personal, Appalachian Southern culture. I teach them. We do a dumb supper. We have some traditions and some spookies, and we'll share some spooky hate stories. So that'll be really fun. We'll do Dia de los Muertos and understanding that, because that is a big influence in our culture here in America. We will be looking at some more Catholic folks leading traditions and stories, just basic all around, some good times to be had. I am looking forward to having a good time this Halloween and making October feel like October. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know about y'all, the last couple of years it did not feel like Christmas. It barely felt like Halloween. Things seem to just kind of blend together, and I don't know if that's on purpose or if I'm just getting older, but I'm really trying to bring that magic and pull myself out of that slump, not by overexerting myself, but showing up for myself, and then in turn showing up for the girls. So like, I'm already doing the bare minimum, and some days that's all you can do, but I want to actually show up and make that commitment, you know what I mean? So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, all right, I've jabbered your ear off enough. Leave comments down below, like and subscribe if you want more whimsical and witchy homeschooling stuff, and I will see you with the full moon video coming up in a couple days. Bye now.